Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Podcast. Today is Monday, August 12th, 2019. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's baseball games, look ahead to today's games, go over the NFL preseason games from Friday and Saturday, and look ahead to the week 2 of the preseason a little bit. NBA schedule comes out today. I'm going to go over the leaks that have been revealed so far, like Christmas Day, opening night, and a couple superstar return games, and what I'm looking forward to in the schedule that hasn't been leaked yet, and my best bet of the day. All right, baseball. Some interesting results yesterday, some upsets, some shocking upsets to say the least. We'll certainly get to one early, and some expected favorites winning, and some pitchers stepping up when they need to, and some winning streaks snapped as well. All right. The Yankees defeat the Blue Jays 1-0. A nice win for the Yankees. They get a split in Toronto. It's okay. I mean, Toronto, to me, showed me a lot in this series. They really have put themselves in a position, if they need the pitching, they certainly do, and they're going to be contending with the Yankees for the American League East in 2 years from now. And let's just assume the Red Sox bounce back, too. They'll be back in the discussion unless they decide to go with a rebuild, which I doubt they do. But anyway, that's a different conversation for another day. Yankees are 77-41. Toronto's 49-72. Masahiro Tanaka gets the win. Trent Thornton the loss. Aroldis Chapman the save. Tanaka was brilliant. He was overdue for a performance like this. 8 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts, rate 4.64. Tanaka started the 9th inning but allowed a base runner, so they went to Chapman. Smart move by Aaron Boone by at least letting Tanaka start the inning to see if he had it, and if he gave up a hit, then go to Chapman, so he played that out very well. And Chapman had a nice battle with young rookie phenom Vlad Guerrero Jr., who pinch hit in the bottom of the 9th for Toronto for Reese McGuire, the catcher, and grounded into a double play, 13-pitch battle. So credit by Chapman for getting the Blue Jays' best hitter to ground it into a double play at the end there. Thornton pitched very well. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs. 1 earned run, a walk, 6 strikeouts, rate 5.34, so a quality outing for him. Angels over the Red Sox 5-4 in 10 innings. The Angels go to 58-61. Boston 60-58. They really have just given up on the season, the Red Sox. Hansel Robles the win. Ryan Weber the loss. The starter for the Angels in this game was Patrick Sandoval. 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, rate 5.59. Andrew Cashner stunk. An inning in 2/3, 3 hits, 3 runs, 5 walks, no strikeout, ERA 4.83. 5 walks was really a killer for him. Nathan Eovaldi pitched pretty well out of the bullpen in this game for Boston. Orioles over the Astros 8-7, walk-off home run by Rio Ruiz, a 2-run shot. Bounce back win for the Orioles after losing 23-2 on Saturday. Baltimore goes to 39-78. Houston 77-41. Richard Blyer the win. Roberto Osuna with the loss and the blown save. And this was after Michael Brantley had a Little League inside the park home run in the top of the 9th as Michael Givens blew the save. So, credit for Richard Blyer for getting in there and getting the job done, and for the Orioles to steal a win from the Astros. Asher Wojciechowski pitched for Baltimore. He pitched very well. 6 innings, 4 3 runs, 5 strikeouts, ERA 4.84. He pitched a lot better than he did against the Yankees. Justin Verlander was mediocre. 5 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs, a walk, 11 strikeouts, ERA 2.82. The 11 strikeouts are nice, but you shouldn't be giving up 9 hits and 4 runs and only going 5 against the worst team in the league. Granted, 109 pitches, too. So Verlander kind of kept the Astros in the game with those strikeouts, but giving up 4 runs and 9 hits to the O's is not something an ace should be doing whatsoever. Royals over the Tigers 10-2, a good win for the Royals. Good series win, 43-76. Detroit 35-80. Jacob Junis to win, Daniel Norris the loss. Junis 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 4.8. Daniel Norris, 3 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, rate 4.94. Nats over the Mets 7-4 as the Mets winning streak ends at 8. Nats go to 62-55. Mets drop to 61-57. Getting the win for Washington, going to 1-2 on the year. Matt Grace, Roberto Gesellman the loss, Sean Doolittle the save. Anibal Sanchez started for the Nats, 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 3 strikeouts, rate 3.75. Jacob deGrom, 5 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, a walk, 7 strikeouts, rate 2.68. Meanwhile, he gave up 3 runs, but all of them were unearned, courtesy of an error by the Mets, or 2 errors. So, deGrom, again, brilliant beyond brilliant. I think there's a chance he wins the Cy Young Award now that Max Scherzer's hurt and Ryu went on the IL too. So I would put some cash down on Jacob deGrom to win the National League Cy Young right now to be a repeat winner for the Mets. Braves over the Marlins 5-4. Atlanta is 70-50. Miami 44-73. Mark Fultonevich to win. Hector Noesi the loss. Luke Jackson the save. Fultonevich, 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 6.24. Noesi, 6 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 8.18. Cubs over the Reds, 6-3. Good win for the Cubs. They are on the season 64-54. Cincinnati, 56-60. David Phelps win. Michael Lorenzen the loss. Pedro Strop the save. John Lester, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 4.43. Castillo, 6 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 8 strikeouts, race at 2.69. He didn't play for the Cy Young too, but I'd give it to deGrom right now because he has helped lead the Mets back into contention for the National League wild card. A's over the White Sox 2-0. The A's are 67-51. The White Sox are 52-64. Chris Bassett the win. Lucas Giolito the loss. Liam Hendricks the save. Chris Bassett was awesome. 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, rate 3.76. Lucas Giolito, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 13 strikeouts, rate 3.42. 1 bad pitch the entire game. Lucas Giolito was really, really good. Rangers over the Brewers 1-0. Texas is 59-58. Milwaukee 62-57. Mike Minor the win. Jordan Lyles the loss. Jose Leclerc the save. Mike Minor was really good. This is his best start in a while. 8 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts, rate 2.9. Jordan Lyles, 7 innings, 3 hits, and a run, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts, rate 4.71. Indians over the Twins, 7-3 in 10 innings. Go-ahead grand slam by Carlos Santana in the 10th inning there. Cleveland and Minnesota, 71-47 now in the year, tied for the AL Central. I think the Indians are going to win this division. They're just a better team. They have the better pitching sans the Trevor Bauer trade. They're getting people back. Their offense has improved. Their bullpen's been pitching better. I really like this Indians team more than the Twins, and I would not rule out the possibility that the Minnesota Twins miss out on the playoffs altogether because of their inability to improve their rotation and their pitching staff at the trade deadline. Brad Hand the win. Trevor Rogers the loss. Aaron Savali, 6 innings, 4 hits, and a run, no walks, 5 strikeouts, an ERA of 1. He was spectacular. Jose Barrios was good. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 4 strikeouts, rate 3.29. Cardinals over the Pirates 11-9. A big win for St. Louis. They are 61-55 on the year. Pittsburgh 48-69. John Gant the win. Kyle Crick the loss. Andrew Miller the save. Miles Mikolas, 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, a walk, 4 strikeouts, rate 4.13. Stephen Brault, 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 strikeouts, rate 4.33. Rockies over the Padres 8-3. The Rockies are 53-65. San Diego 55-62. Herman Marquez the win. Craig Stammen the loss. Marquez was brilliant. 8 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, rate 4.75. Getting the start for San Diego was Dinelson Lamet. 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, rate 3.86. Dodgers over the Diamondbacks 9-3. I think the Dodgers are the best team in baseball right now. 79-41 on the year. Arizona 59-59. Haitian Ryu to win. 12-2 on the year. Mike Leake the loss. 0-1 as a Diamondback. Ryu is really good. I believe this was his first start off the injured list. 7 innings, 5 hits, no runs, a walk, 4 strikeouts, rate 1.45. Mike Leake 5 innings, 10 hits, 8 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, rate 8.71. And that's as a member of the D-backs, obviously. Rays over the Mariners 1-0. The Rays are 69-50. Seattle 48-71. Ryan Yarbrough to win. Wade LeBlanc the loss, Emilio Pagan the save. Yarbrough actually got the start and went 8 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts, 3.56. Spectacular. And then Emilio Pagan came on and got the save. Sam Tuivalu was the opener, went an inning, struck out 1, ERA 2.45. LeBlanc 6 innings, 5 hits, and a run, no walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 5.14. Giants over the Phillies 9-6. The Giants are 59-60. Phillies 60-58. Will Smith the win. Jose Alvarez the loss. Connor Menez started an inning and 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, for strikeouts, rate 7.11. Jake Arrieta 3 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, and walk, 5 strikeouts, rate 4.64. This was the Sunday night game, obviously. They made this game when the Giants were still in the race, so that's why that game got picked. I think that Nats-Mets should have gotten the nod, but the Mets were not in contention at the time where they picked this game. The Mets will be hosting Sunday Night Baseball against the Dodgers in a couple weeks, and it's well-deserved considering that the run that they've been on. But I really thought that Nats-Mets should have been it, and they should have switched it at the last minute because of this Mets run. And by the way, that series was a big series win for the Mets, who won the first 2 games of that series. They're back in it. It's okay if they lost the last one. They just had to win that series for me to consider themselves a threat. And they really are with that starting staff. Jake DeGrom was excellent yesterday. Noah Syndergaard pitched well against the Nats the other night. And Marcus Stroman was okay, but the Mets found the way to win that game. Today's games, you have game 1 of a doubleheader at 1 o'clock between the Yankees and the Orioles. Starting for the Yankees is James Paxton in game 1. Gabriel Noah going for Baltimore. Game 2 between these two teams is the starters are TBD. If I had to guess, I'd say opener for both teams. 7 o'clock ESPN, Red Sox Indians. Eduardo Rodriguez and Zach Plesac. I'm taking the Indians here to win. I don't get why they're an underdog here. Makes no sense to me. They're better than the Red Sox right now. They're playing for a division title. The Red Sox are done. It's just Red Sox publicity being juiced as a favorite. I know this happens to some of even the better teams. The Yankees, for example, is a good example with a bad pitcher like Jay Happ on the mound getting the minus against a team that is bad but can upset them or is capable. Like I thought Toronto, I don't think Toronto should have been favored the other night, but it should have been a closer line than people realize because Sean Reed-Foley is an improved pitcher this year for the Blue Jays, and Jay Happ is a pitcher in decline. So I don't get why the Yankees were that big of a favorite. The Red Sox, meanwhile, in this game should not be favored. They should be the underdog here. And I absolutely love the Indians to win this game outright. I never felt so good about an underdog this season, especially on national television like the Indians are tonight. Reds Nationals. Anthony DeSclafani and Eric Feed. Nats need to win that game. Texas Toronto, Ariel Gerardo, and making a season debut for the Blue Jays, Neil Ramirez. I wonder if this is an opener situation in this one. 8 o'clock Astros, White Sox, another road series for Houston against a bad team. Zach Greinke making his second Astros start against Dylan Cease. Diamondbacks, Rockies at 8:40. Merrill Kelly and Peter Lambert, both these teams are out of it. Pirates, Angels at 10 o'clock, both these teams are out of it too. Mitch Keller and Jose Suarez. Keller, I think, has got to pitch well down the stretch to ensure himself a rotation spot for the Pirates next year. And Rays Padres at 10 o'clock, an interesting interleague series here. Diego Castillo and Joey Lucchesi. Important games for Tampa Bay on the West Coast. All right. NFL preseason from Friday and Saturday. Steelers over the Bucks 30-28. Mason Rudolph 5 for 8, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. And playing the majority of the snaps for Buffalo was Tampa. 26 of 43, 333 yards, and a touchdown pass. Jameis Winston, by the way, 5 of 6, 40 yards and a TD pass. Blaine Gabbert 6 for 8, 50 yards. And Josh Dobbs, 5 for 8, 85 yards for Pittsburgh. And The other quarterback for Pittsburgh was Delvin Hodges, 8 for 14, 79 yards and a touchdown pass. Vikings over the Saints 34-25. Teddy Bridgewater 14 of 19 and 134 yards and a touchdown pass. Taysom Hill 8 of 14, 80 yards, a touchdown, and the pick. So a good outing for Bridgewater even though it was in defeat. Kirk Cousins led a drive 4 for 4, 65 yards and a touchdown pass. Backup quarterback for the Vikings saw a lot of the reps. Sean Mannion 7 for 13, 102 yards and a touchdown pass. Jake Browning 2 for 3, 18 yards. And the other quarterback for the Vikings that saw time was Kyle Sloter, who went 6 for 7, 62 yards and a touchdown pass. Saturday preseason, Chiefs over the Bengals 38-17. Mahomes saw some time. 4 for 4, 66 yards. Chad Henne 2 for 4, 26 yards. Kyle Shermer 6 for 15, 77 yards and a touchdown pass. And Chase Litton saw a lot of the time. 11 for 15, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Meanwhile for the Bengals, Andy Dalton 7 of 9, 80 yards. Jake Driscoll 8 of 19, 79 yards and an interception. Ryan Finley 13 of 18, 109 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Raiders over the Rams 14-3. Nate Peterman had a highlight run in this game that got a lot of buzz. He had 3 carries for 56 yards, and he had the one for 50 yards in that game. Threw 9 for 12, 66 yards and a touchdown. Mike Lennon, 17 of 25, 200 yards and 2 interceptions. Blake Bortles, 3 for 8, 50 yards. And the other 2 quarterbacks for the Rams, John Wolford, went 6 for 8 and 54 yards. And Brandon Allen went 6 for 12 for 34 yards for the Rams. 49ers over the Cowboys 17-6. The 2 guys battling for the backup job for Jimmy Garoppolo. CJ Beathard 13-17, 141 yards, a touchdown, the pick. Nate Mullins, who saw a lot of time last year, 11-17, 105 yards, a touchdown, and the pick. And the fourth string quarterback for the Niners, Wilton Speet, 2 of 3 for 10 yards. Seeing some time for the Cowboys was Cooper Rush, 16 of 26, 142 yards. Dak Prescott saw a series 4 for 4 for 23 yards, and the other quarterback for Dallas that played in this game was Mike White, 9 for 20, 87 yards. Preseason week 2 starts on Thursday. You have the Eagles and the Jaguars, so Nick Foles against his ex-team. Jets, Falcons, Bengals, Redskins, Packers, Ravens, Raiders, Cardinals on ESPN. Friday the 16th is Bears, Giants, Bills, Panthers, Dolphins, Buccaneers. Saturday the 17th, Browns, Colts, Patriots, Titans, Chiefs, Steelers, Lions, Texans, Cowboys, Rams, and then Sunday, August 18th, Saints, Chargers on CBS and Seahawks, Vikings on Fox. And then Monday the 19th on ESPN, 49ers, Broncos. So we'll preview those games as the week goes on. NBA schedule comes out today at 3 o'clock. I'm going to have a podcast on my own tonight at some point, recapping the schedule in the national games, and I'm going to have guests on, maybe one tonight and one tomorrow, on to talk about the schedule and some teams' off seasons and whatnot. So be on the lookout for that. I'll have potentially my buddy Christian on to talk about this, and maybe some gambling stuff as well. Maybe Ryan Berger, who I've had on a few times, Josh Eberle, maybe Jonathan Wagner, maybe Derek. I'll get somebody on to talk about the schedule. It's to be determined who. Probably more likely my NBA people like Ryan Berger and Jonathan Wagner. But like I said, stay tuned. So what we know so far. Opening night, Pelicans, Raptors, Clippers, Lakers. So the Raptors get their championship rings against Zion and the Pelicans. And my takeaway so far from what we've learned is that you're going to see a lot of Pelicans on national TV. Zion's already being a apparent figure in the NBA, and he hasn't even played a minute in the NBA yet. We saw some time in the Summer League, but he got hurt in that game. And by the way, if Zion was a Knick, the Knicks would be on national TV every week, especially to see how the schedule fans out with the Pelicans. And then you say, what if Zion was a Knick? And then the Knicks would be on all the time. This was like when Lonzo Ball came out and he was a Laker. And the reason why the Lakers had so many national games because they had Lonzo Ball. Maybe it's a surprise and the Knicks get a lot of national games and RJ Barrett gets a lot of pub. That would not dumbfind me, but at the same time, the Knicks are really bad, so I don't think they'll get more than 5 national games, but you never know. And in Clippers-Lakers, that's awesome. The Battle of LA opened up the year. The 2 best teams in the league in my mind on paper, but I really have to reevaluate that statement when it comes to the purple and gold. I feel good about it for the blue and red and white and pink because there's pink in their logo now and black. So the Clippers and Lakers are going to be on national TV every week. I have a feeling about that. We'll see. And that's going to be a great game to start the season. That's probably going to be Marv Albert and Chris Webber, and then you have Kevin Harlan, Reggie Miller doing ring night. Because I don't see how Marv Albert's not on Clippers-Lakers. Because opening night's always on TNT, and that's a Tuesday. Christmas Day falls on a Wednesday this year. So you have all the games on the ESPN ABC networks. Celtics-Raptors, division rival, into what we think are contenders in the East. Bucks 76ers are arguably the best 2 teams in the East going at it. That game should be on ABC. Pelicans Nuggets I don't think will be on ABC. I think that'll be the 10:30 ESPN game, so Zion against Jokic. Clippers Lakers will be the primetime 8 o'clock ABC game. That's a lock. I think it's a guarantee that Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, and Jeff Van Gundy will be at that game. And then Rockets Warriors I think will be the 5:30 ABC game, probably Mark Jones, Hubie Brown. So that's Steph Curry against Harden and Westbrook in that game. And then Bucks 76ers I expect to be 3 o'clock ABC. Celtics Raptors will be 12:30 on ESPN or 12 o'clock, depending on where they do it. Maybe 12 o'clock and then 2:35, 8, and then 10:30 Pelicans Nuggets. So again, my prediction for the order of the Christmas games, I think the 12 o'clock game will be Celtics Raptors. The 3 o'clock game will be Bucks 76ers. The 5:30 game will be Rockets Warriors. The 8 o'clock ABC game with the simulcast on ESPN will be Clippers Lakers with Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, and Doris Burke. Or no, Doris Burke will be color commentating one of these games, so it'll probably be Lisa Salters. And then Pelicans Nuggets at 10:30. And I'm going to say that Bucks 76ers will be Dave Pasch. Rockets Warriors will be Mark Jones and Hubie Brown. And then Doris will be with Dave Pasch. And then Ryan Rucco, Celtics Raptors, although Rucco really has emerged as a superstar announcer covering everything he does with the WNBA. He calls the Brooklyn Nets and he calls the Yankees. And he's been doing great filling in for Michael Kay on the Yankees, although he's their 3rd string announcer. But he's been their number 1 guy right now with Kay recovering from vocal cord surgery. I expect Kay to be back sometime this month. It could be this weekend against the Indians, but that's another story for another day. And then the last game, the Nuggets against the Pelicans, will probably be like Mark Kestisher and PJ Carlesimo, or Adam Amin and PJ Carlesimo. So I think you can pencil in PJ Carlesimo for Pelicans Nuggets, unless they put him with Ryan Rucco and then like Kara Lawson on that late game. But sometimes Kara and Ryan work together, so I would expect Kara Lawson and Ryan Rucco on that first game, and then PJ Carlesimo and either Mark Kestisher or Adam Amin on the last game. Return games. The first one, as we know of right now in terms of chronological order, November 14th, Kristaps Porzingis returns to the Garden as the Knicks host the Mavericks. So that's going to be interesting. I think he'll be heavily booed because a lot of Knicks fans are upset that he requested a trade. I think this will be the worst booing you'll see of a superstar return probably since LeBron went back to Cleveland for the first time in 2010. I'm being dead serious on that one. That is on a Thursday, the 14th, so I expect that game to be on TNT. Anthony Davis' return game to New Orleans is November 27th, and Kyrie's return game to Boston is the same day, November 27th. That's a Wednesday, so I expect that to be the ESPN doubleheader. I'm going to say it's 7 and 9:30 are the two slots because New Orleans home games are normally 8 o'clock or 9:30, and you have an East Coast game in Boston. So I assume 7 for Nets Celtics and 9:30 for Lakers Pelicans, and I think Mike Breen will probably be calling the Kyrie one because I'm sure they would normally put him on the East Coast game and then would probably put Ryan Ruocco or Mark Jones with Van Gundy or Mark Jackson on the West Coast because they normally don't put the big three together in the regular season unless if it's ABC game like Christmas or Saturday primetime. But ESPN, they're together in the playoffs, but like on a regular season ESPN game, regular ESPN, they normally aren't together. But they were together for Lakers Rockets last year when LeBron made his Lakers home debut when that fight broke up. That was all three of them. But they normally break them up in the regular season except for Christmas and the Saturday primetime games and the occasional Sunday showcase game depending on that opponent. December 11th, Kawhi returns to Toronto as the Clippers face the Raptors. December 11th is a Wednesday. So that's going to be an ESPN game, probably 8 o'clock. Russell Westbrook back in Oklahoma City on January the 9th. So that's going to be a TNT game, either an 8 o'clock or a 9:30. Sometimes Oklahoma City will get the occasional 7 o'clock TNT game, 6 o'clock local start. But I assume that if it's against the Rockets, they'll probably put it on at 8 o'clock. So they can get the ratings, or even 9:30, I wouldn't rule out either. So that'll be a TNT return game. And then Paul George back at the Thunder March 3rd. That is a Tuesday. And normally they do TNT Tuesdays in March. So I expect that game to be on TNT. And that's normally players only. Players only, they do Mondays and Tuesdays during the springtime, Mondays being NBA TV and Tuesdays being TNT. But sometimes they do Monday TNT as well, depending on like what's on and whatnot. But I expect that game on March 3rd to be on TNT. Anything else I'm looking forward to? We know when Zion's debut is. I would like to see when RJ Barrett's debut is for the Knicks. John Morant's debut for the Grizzlies. I'm big into rookie debuts. That should be interesting. When is the debut for the New York Celtics and Kemba Walker? And speaking of Kemba Walker, when's his return to Charlotte? That should be interesting. And what reception he'll get there. I think they'll give him a nice hand because it's Charlotte and it's not a big market team. Like, he had a right to leave and he knew that team wasn't good. And he has a better chance to win in Boston than he does in Charlotte. So I'm looking forward to seeing when Kemba Walker's return to Charlotte is. And Charlotte at Boston for Terry Rozier, even though Rozier is a role player for them. That should be interesting. I expect the Celtics fans to welcome back Terry Rozier as well. I would like to see when... I know this is random because Marcus Morris was supposed to sign with the Spurs and he spurned them for the Knicks. Knicks at San Antonio to me is interesting for that alone. Only because I remember Dallas played the Clippers. DeAndre Jordan was supposed to sign with the Mavs. He ended up going back to the Clippers. And Dallas just destroyed Jordan. And that's another interesting one. I want to see when the Knicks go to Dallas. See Dennis Smith's return. I'd like to see the Clippers at Indiana, so that'd be Paul George returning to Indiana as a member of the Clippers. So that's something interesting. Pelicans at Lakers is interesting. I want to see when Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball return to Los Angeles. That's going to be very interesting. And there's a lot of other things I'm looking forward to seeing. I want to see when the Warriors play the Clippers and the Lakers. So Stephen Curry against LeBron and Davis. Stephen Curry against Paul George and Kawhi. Warriors Nets I'm looking forward to. When's D'Angelo Russell's return? Kevin Durant's return to Golden State won't be until the 2020-21 season. Nets at Knicks is going to be interesting because I want to see Kyrie Irving reception at the Garden because he did not sign with them as a free agent. I know it's more for Durant if Durant was healthy, but that, like I said, in the 2020-2021 season is when Nets games to me should be more interesting against the likes of the Knicks, the Thunder, and the Warriors. Well, the Warriors this year is the exception because of D'Angelo Russell from a Warriors standpoint. Memphis against the Warriors should be interesting. Andre Iguodala's return to the Warriors because he, as far as I'm concerned, is still a member of the Memphis Grizzlies, not on a contender yet. I think he'll be traded in December, by the way, and Memphis can get something for him. So that's something to look forward to as well. And I'm going to have a reaction podcast tonight, either by myself or with a guest or both. So keep an eye on that. Best bet of the day brought to you by DraftKings. There's a lot of nice favorites on the board that I like. I absolutely love the Yankees in both games against the Orioles. They've owned the Orioles this year. I think they'll sweep the Orioles at home. And I really expect them to get the job done. The line's not up for game 2, but I'm just going to pick it game 1. I love the Indians, even though they're a dog. I'm putting them on best bet. I'm dead serious. I'm putting on the Indians. I'm going to take the Astros and Zach Greinke on the road. And I'm going to take the... This is a tough one. I'm going to take the Nationals against the Reds. I just like them at home. Because, yeah, they're a pick'em, but I don't have many options today. So wagering $1, payout of $6.68 with 568 odds. That's it for the podcast today. I'll be back today recapping the NBA schedule. Like I said, I might have a guest on. So tomorrow, I'm going to have maybe a few more guests on to talk NBA. I'm going to talk about baseball, more NBA schedule stuff and whatnot. Any other news that comes out in the world of sports. I have to talk about Antonio Brown tomorrow too. And obviously my best bet as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everybody.